Hi, everyone, and welcome to the Virgo August 2022 Illumination reading. This is I Am Illuminated Tarot, a place for you to better connect with and illuminate your own personal spiritual importance. So what does that mean? That means that in today's reading, we are going to be taking a look at a challenge that Spirit is asking you to face and overcome this month to help you better engage with your unique spirit, that part of ourselves that rises up to meet the occasion when we are challenged. And this is also that we can better unlock and understand our own personal heroic capabilities so that we can better see our path, feel our purpose, and get closer to really feeling that feeling of emotional fulfillment that comes when we know where we fit in the greater collective experience, and when we can be of service to that as well. Okay, so hello, all my lovely Virgos out there. I'm sorry these are so late. I had again intended to be ahead of the curve this month, but unfortunately I got sick at the end of July and it's taken me a while to recover. So here I am. And I hope you have all entered the month of August with a bang. There's some interesting planetary alignments going on right now for everyone. So we're all going to be feeling it, I think, a little differently, but there's definitely an air of change that's coming in very strong and prevalent as we move into the month of August. So, okay. Oh, interesting. Okay, so what you're coming in with this month here. We have the Three of Cups, we have the Eight of Pentacles, and then we have a card that's unique to this version of the Rider-Waite Tarot, which I personally enjoy. And this is a card for me that in this deck represents, it's kind of like the Ten of Pentacles, similar to that. And it's kind of looking at what we want our legacy to be like, kind of looking forward to that future version of ourselves that when we are technically old and gray and we're looking back at our lives, what is the story we want to share with others? What's the experience that we want to have that we can then kind of impart on the next generation? And so I think for some of you, you're really sitting with that. What do you want for this future version of yourself? What do you want to share with others? And kind of bringing that even into like a family setting. You know, if you were to sit there and really look at that aspect of your experience, you know, the Three of Cups coming in, this kind of community aspect. What do you know that you need to kind of work on and start to really perfect in your physical life to bring about this future vision of yourself, of you sharing your life with others? That's really strongly coming through here. So let's go ahead and see now what's going on in your external environment, and then we'll get into the challenge that you're facing. So let's see. Okay, so Eight of Cups. All right, that makes sense. Makes a lot of sense here. Okay, and then we have the Three of Pentacles, and there's the Ten of Pentacles. I knew that'd be coming up somewhere, and the Seven of Swords. Okay, so the Eight of Cups coming up in your external environment really speaks to there's something that it's time to walk away from in your life experience. The Eight of Cups speaks to realizing that even though you have invested a lot of emotional investment in something, you know, 8 cups worth of pouring your emotional energy into creating something, you realize it just didn't pan out the way that you were expecting. And that when you look back now at the effort you had put in, it no longer fulfills you in the way that either it once had or in the way that you were hoping it would. And it's time now to go back out on your journey to find the 9th and the 10th cup, getting closer towards, again, that kind of touching what it would feel like to touch your heaven on earth. And that can be a difficult thing. You know, when we think of our emotions and how strong of a role our emotions play in the reality that we get to experience in our experience, there can be this element of not wanting to walk away where we've invested emotionally for so long in something, whether this is a relationship, whether this is a career path, whether this is a family or a friend dynamic. But we get to that point where we actually have to realize this is when we feel that lack of connection emotionally to what we have been investing in. This is that beautiful kind of compass coming back to your North Star to say, it's time to get back on the road and continue the journey. This isn't the end. This wasn't exactly where you were supposed to end up, if that makes sense. And it's telling you it's time for spiritual growth to occur. And because spiritual growth really does occur, I feel, in the emotional plane first. Then we have to kind of bring it up into the mental plane to get ourselves mentally geared up and to change our perspective to realize that something in our life needs to shift. But it starts on that emotional level first. We feel something isn't right. We feel something isn't fulfilling. We feel the need that we start to feel that there could be more out there for us. And with the 3 of Pentacles coming up, underscored here by the 10 of Pentacles and the 7 of Swords, there's this element here of, I think, kind of not wanting to realize a 10 of Pentacles for yourself. The 7 of Swords can be could be a card of avoidance, one where we don't know if it's worth it to go towards something that we actually want for ourselves. This could be, the ultimate dream of having the family and all the things that go with it. This could be the ultimate dream of realizing a career wish and all the things that go with that. And it's one of those points where we can get to that place and we see what we want for ourselves. But we kind of don't want to face it, because in facing what we ultimately want to work towards, what we want to experience in the physical and the tangible, we realize something's going to have to change. We realize that we're actually going to have to either walk away from something, we might have to change what and how we focus our energy, what we choose to work on, or with the 3 of Pentacles, we might have to change actually who we're working with and reimagine the vision for ourselves. The 3 of Pentacles is one where we are working with others for a common goal that we all, this is kind of one of those things where we build it better and stronger together. That really is the element here. And there's an element as well of being seen, of being recognized for the dream, for what you want to build, and for kind of the artistic and creative aspect as well. So for, I think, a lot of you, this is a month of getting very clear as to what it's time to walk away from emotionally to really help you gain the courage to start to reimagine the dream and to find those who want to build it with you. Because with the 3 of Cups coming in here, this beautiful kind of card of legacy again, where it's an older lady with probably her grandchildren and her daughter in the background. There's this feeling of family coming in, of community, of building something with others, wanting to celebrate something with others. And so that does involve having to, I think, change where you've been emotionally investing your energy. Whether this is now a change in a home environment or a relationship status, whether this is a change in, how much you put into your career versus your home life or vice versa. And with the 8 of Pentacles coming up, you have this beautiful, I think, I almost get this like quiet ambition of like, keep my head down, keep working. This is something I know if I keep working at it, kind of the slow and steady, which really harnesses your energy to a certain extent, Virgo, of if I can just keep kind of working away at this and I can keep kind of perfecting it, I'm going to bring in that feeling of community, that feeling of celebration, that feeling of sharing what I'm working with others. I'm almost going to make it so. But the challenge here is really going to be admitting to yourself what you know you're capable of creating for yourself, the 10 of Pentacles, and going out there to start to share that dream with others, going out there to start to find others who want to build it with you. So this would be really realizing that maybe you've been single for a long time and you really want to go out there and have that relationship and start and work towards having that family. Maybe that's the legacy you realize you're missing in your life. Well, then this is having to realize that maybe you have committed to kind of the single lifestyle, or you committed to focusing so much on a career path, and that now it's time to shift your emotional focus. Maybe now it's time to start emotionally investing in things that get you closer to meeting people who have a similar mindset to you. Or realizing that now it's time to maybe move to a new location where you're going to be in a place that's going to attract those type of people, the partner of your dreams, or where it's time to maybe instead of investing in your business, you start to invest in the purchase of a home for the future family that you're going to have. It's a shifting in where you put your emotional energy. but also it's a shift in how and also what you're working on in a practical sense. So there's this element here of kind of blending both, which is great. Bringing your emotions and the action you're taking in the physical together with an eye towards what you want to create for yourself. It's actually a month that I feel is going to be very clear for you. The only block I see here is this kind of this element of not wanting to admit to yourself that I think you have the capability of creating for yourself what you want, that lasting kind of legacy in the physical, but not sharing it with others, not wanting to actually have to go through the kind of the emotional hardship of walking away from something, of realizing that something didn't quite pan out the way that you wanted, or that now it's time to shift focus, and that might mean having to change something. That might mean having to work with different people. It might mean actually having to be vulnerable to actually say, come in and work with me. Okay, so now we're going to pull some cards here to take a look at what the actual blocks are going to be. So what is the actual block you're facing here? Okay, a Seven of Pentacles. Okay, so Seven of Pentacles and Seven of Swords are very similar here. There's a similar energy of, is it worth it for me to keep putting time and energy towards something? Then we have the Prince of Swords, which in this deck is the Knight of Swords, Ace of Cups. I love that. So it's at the heart of your reading. That speaks to a reconnection with love, love for yourself, love for others, possibly even a new romance for some of you. Oh, I love it. Four of Wands. Okay. Building a strong foundation. Could even be some of you reconnecting stronger to a marriage. Let's see here. I had another card that came out in here. I feel like I saw it. Yes. Okay. So then we have Nine of Pentacles and the Star clarifying that. All right. So your initial challenge right here is the Seven of Pentacles. Seven of Pentacles is where we can get trapped in a place of looking at the physical results of where we've put time and energy and effort and resources, and looking at what we actually have created from that, and to say, is this actually what I want? Do I want to continue to put effort towards dating somebody and purchasing the home that I know I want to fill with this future family that I see for myself? Or do I want to, continue to build out the business plan and keep putting money towards, creating this business for myself? And it can get to that point where we can get stuck here. This is your main challenge of, do I double down and go from the Seven of Pentacles to the Eight of Pentacles? And I keep working at it, and I know with faith that it's going to happen. Or do I pull back and change up the plan a little bit? And I think for some of you, from what I'm seeing here, there's really this feeling of realizing, I think, that you don't have to do it alone. And I do get that feeling that a lot of you feel kind of like out there on your own. Like, if I don't put in all the work, if I don't do everything myself, it's never going to come to be. And with the Prince of Swords, or the Knight of Swords coming in, this is, quick communication. It's sharing of your truth. It's really going out there with movement in going towards what you want and expressing it fearlessly. There can be a brashness to the Knight of Swords that can come through, kind of as like that truth bomb, the person who comes in and is like, this is who I am, or this is what I see, or this is my truth. But there's also the element of that sometimes is a needed energy. It's the energy of going out there and fearlessly expressing from that place of who you are and what you want for yourself, that clarity that comes when we use our Ace of Swords. And so I think for some of you, there's this feeling of really needing to, in order to kind of get past the Seven of Pentacles, get past this kind of like, do I want to keep investing time and energy towards something? Is it worth it for me to invest here to get to my dream? Yeah, it is. But you have to get out there and be ready to express from that place. That's really, I think, sometimes where we don't understand we don't appreciate the Knight of Swords, because The Knight of Swords harnesses that energy of it's time to go out there. It's time to share who you are, and to share in a way that is fearless, that comes from that kind of knight of the realm energy of where you're proud of the truth that you're out there to protect, the truth that you're also out there to speak and to share with others. And that brings you to the Ace of Cups, which is what Spirit's asking you to embrace this month, to really help you focus on continuing to kind of double down on what you want to achieve for yourself, and to not in your mind kind of do the self-sabotage of, oh, but it might take too long. You know, it might take another 5 years of me investing time and energy into getting this business off the ground. Or it might take 5 years for me to meet the love of my life and have the family that I want. Or it might take, whatever it is that you're working towards. It's saying, it's okay. It's okay. Because as long as you can have the vision and you can dedicate yourself to just keeping your head down and doing one step at a time, the vision will come into be. You will find those that want to join you on this journey, those who want to celebrate with you, those who want to help build it with you. Nothing is built alone or on an island. And I'm even wrestling with this concept myself. It's hard. It's really hard when we lead busy lives, and when we're used to kind of doing things on our own, especially when, we're trying to kind of bring in this element of perfection, and we feel like, well, we don't want to muddy that with bringing other people in, or where am I even going to find people who see the same thing that I see or want for myself? And it's the realization that the more we share, the more we harness the energy of the Knight of Swords, the more we share, the more we learn to love our truth. The more we learn that that's what fills our cup. The more we learn from others that they'll hear our truth and either say, oh, I really see the beauty in that, or I don't. But it's a great way to then find those who connect with you on that level. And you'll never know until you start to share from that place. And so you start to take your story on the road, so to speak. And with that comes the Four of Wands. I love this on the other side. There's for some of, if this was I'd say individual reading for somebody, I'd look at the Four of Wands, the Nine of Pentacles, and the Star here as really kind of taking a look at, possibly taking a marriage or a committed relationship to the next step. That for some of you, there's been a comfort zone for some time, and you may even feel trapped by that. But for the majority of you, there is something to be said about a foundation. The Four of Wands is building a foundation from a place of passion. That could be building the foundation of a marriage. It could be building the foundation of a business. But there's something now where in understanding what you want and having more clarity as to what this Ten of Pentacles, what is the ultimate legacy? For some of you, there's a realization of where you've kind of stopped short. The Nine of Pentacles is where we are sitting in a very independent, kind of lovely place of being able to look around and enjoy the fruits of our labor. But we've also cut ourselves off from moving towards the Ten of Pentacles, which is the closing out of the cycle, but also the realization of a long-term goal for ourselves. We're holding ourselves at the 9 and not wanting to work towards the 10. And that's where the Star comes in. There's a hope, a dream that is somewhere in this cup that you have pushed down and have not wanted to admit that that's something you really want to add to your experience. The person here walking away from the Eight of Cups knows that there is more, that there is another 2 cups out there. There's another cup waiting. And I kind of like to look at it that he's taking his cup, which is actually the 9th cup. It's the wishes and dreams that he has in his heart. And he's going out to find the 10th cup, which is held by someone else who will support him, and he gets to share that. And that's the true heart's desire, right? That we want to share our vision of heaven on earth with others. There really is no vision, I feel, that most of us hold that would really be as fulfilling if we realized it on our own instead of being able to share it with another or others. And so there's an element here of really feeling into that this month, that there's a deep wish still that is unfulfilled for yourself, the star. There is something that is a true north guiding compass. When I said that there's almost like the compass needle that's pointing north, this is the star. This is what I was envisioning. And there's this feeling here of kind of re-gauging yourself to your North Star and realizing there's something that you now have to walk away from to continue that journey, to remove yourself from the 9 to get to the 10. And part of that journey is going to be meeting new people, others who are going to share in this dream, others who are going to help you find that 10th cup. And most likely because they're going to be the ones holding it. So I'm going to go ahead and pull some clarifiers here. So we're going to get a little bit more information. So we're going to see here what's going on with the 7 of Pentacles. Okay, so we have Temperance. Interesting. So Temperance is a card of moderation. It's also a card of balancing your emotions with how and where you choose to take action. We have the Queen of Swords. Ooh, and the Ace of Wands. All right. So beautiful. I think for some of you, there is this feeling with the 7 of Pentacles of, if I just keep doing what I'm doing, am I going to keep getting what I got? And that's where Temperance comes in and says, yeah, that's the truth. If you're not happy with the results at this point, or you think, okay, they haven't panned out in the way, I'm not realizing what the result that I want as fast as I want or in the way that I want it, then it's saying it might be time to switch it up a little bit. It might be time to not walk away from the dream and not walk away from still putting time and energy towards something that you want to continue to work on. But with the Queen of Swords and the Ace of Wands, there's something here around kind of looking back at your past, looking back at what you've gone through, what you're capable of, and the truth that comes from that, the truth that has come with the things you've had to go through that have created the stronger and more clear on your personal truth person that you are today. So if you had to go out and share your truth, that comes from your experiences. That comes from what you know you're capable of. And therein lies the Ace of Wands. Therein lies the new connection to inspiration. And I think for some of you, there's been a little bit of a lack of that. There's almost been kind of this like, I'm going to put my head down and I'm going to work towards something and I'm just working and I'm working and I'm working. And it's like, well, wait a second, maybe stop for a moment, take a step back and realize maybe you have lost some emotional connection to what you've been working in. And that can happen. That can be where we just, we started out with the dream of having our personal business, but the day-to-day just kind of got in the way and we forget, oh my gosh, when I stop to look back, look how far I've come. 5 years ago, I didn't even have a business and now I do, but I need to realize, okay, I need to reconnect to what that initial spark was. What is the story I want to share through what I'm doing? How does the actions I'm taking actually speak to what I want to express in the actions that I take? So this would look like, if my truth is that I want to have a significant partner to share my life with and to have the kids and the home and that whole thing, well, how are my actions every day when I start to reinvest in that dream? How do they go back to my inspiration? That when I look back at how far I've come on my journey to here and my self-awareness of who I am, how can I then moderate where I choose to take action based now in a place of passion and emotional connection? So where can I continue to put my time and effort, but in a way that brings me back to that element of emotional connection to what I'm doing? I'm not just every day, stamping the timestamp or every day going onto another dating app and swiping right or left and just going through the motions. I'm now stopping and saying, maybe I need to do it a little differently. I'm not going to stop in my dream of finding the right person, but I'm going to realize when I look back at my story, I'm capable of connecting with people on a one-on-one basis better than I am maybe on a dating app. Maybe it's time for me to go back out and take my inspiration, my passion, who I am and how I communicate, which is the Prince of Swords here. How can I take that out and start to connect with people one-on-one? Does that mean I start to, go out to local museums, or do I join a kickball group, or do I start to, you name it, find ways to connect one-on-one with people instead of maybe trying to use the dating apps that I've been doing that haven't given me the result I've wanted. So there's something here about almost like doubling down on the dream, but coming from a new place of inspiration of what is that connection to who you are? That in this journey, what have you discovered about yourself that you now need to integrate into where you choose and how you choose to take action towards this dream? And there's going to be a change that's taking place there around that. Okay, so now this is for here we go, the Nine of Coins again. So with the Prince of Swords, there's a little bit here of realizing, I think you have to get out of a comfort zone in how you express who you are and what you want for yourself. There is this element here of, I think, also expressing to others in your life, maybe where there's a comfort zone and where you want to break out of that comfort zone. This could look like maybe you've been on dating apps forever and now it is time to go out there in person. And that's leaving that comfort zone. If you kind of hid behind the scenes for the past couple years, and now it's time to kind of emerge and go out there and be seen for who you are tangibly. Or this could be like in a business that maybe you got to a point in your business and it kind of plateaued, and you're reconnecting with something that you now want to focus on in your business to get it to grow. But now you have to go out there and maybe share that in a different way. And that may be scary because it means that maybe the people who have followed you up to this point aren't expecting you to bring in this part of yourself, or you're changing how you show yourself on social media, or you're changing the products that you sell. There's something here though where it's pushing you to leave something that's given you some level of independence, but now it's time to share it, to share your passion in a new way. To say, I'm going to change it up a little bit, guys. I'm going to start to sell this instead of this. Or I'm going to start to bring in more of my heritage or my lineage in what I create. Or I'm going to start to, post more of this content instead of that. And there's something here around, again, it's going to force you to leave a comfort zone. But the beauty of that is that in leaving that comfort zone, that's what's going to help get you back in alignment with moving towards your star, that great hope or dream for yourself. For Ace of Cups, we have strength. Yeah, there's that, Leo energy coming through for August. Understanding, it takes strength to love yourself. It takes strength to take a look in your cup and see what are those unrealized hopes, dreams, and needs that you want. And also takes strength to then share that vulnerably with others, to go out to love others as much as you love yourself, and vice versa. I'm going to see if there's anything else that wants to... Okay, and there's the Four of Wands again. Okay. So there's something here about having strength around bringing yourself, I feel, into a foundation. Again, this could be the strength of what you want to build. If you want to build, let's say, it looks like they're building a cathedral or something like that here. If you want to build that, well, you first have to have a foundation built from a place of passion. Why do you want to build that cathedral? Why do you want to stay in that marriage? Why is it time for you to double down and commit and take your marriage or take your relationship to the next level? Six of Wands for the Four of Wands. I like that. So there's an element of success coming through there, of recognition for this foundation that you want to build. But this foundation comes from a place of love, of what you want to share with others. And we have the Five of Swords. Yeah, there's a little bit here of, I think, a defensive energy of, I want to be recognized at all cost. I want this to be the way that I want it to be. And, unfortunately, the one thing that we have to realize in life is that we can only continue to take action in the way that we feel compelled to do, but we can't control the outcome, and we can't control the outcome of others. And so there's this element of perhaps you want to be seen in a specific way. Yeah, the World coming. I kind of figured that. And the Page of Swords. Interesting. All right. So Yeah, with the Five of Swords and the Six of Wands, this is wanting to be, there's a little bit of a defensive energy around wanting to be recognized for something specifically. That I'm getting the feeling of it needs to be seen like this, or my efforts need to be recognized in this way. And if they're not, then is it worth it for me to build this foundation? And with the World and the Page of Swords coming up here with the Nine of Pentacles, it's the closing out of a major cycle. And that's why you're being asked to leave a comfort zone, because it's time to go out there and to now see where your truth actually is needed. The Page of Swords is kind of that card where we're going out there to see where our new connection to truth is. It's almost like a childlike, innocent quality of, does it fit here? Do these people fit with my new truth? If I express it like this, what is the response I get? You know, there's a little bit of that kind of fact-finding quality that comes in, but it's also that reconnection almost in a innocent way to what we really want for ourselves. And I like that it comes in with the World, because the World really is saying it's that kind of hard stop. The past is in the past. Whatever you had been working towards that didn't quite work out the way that you had wanted, you're asked now to have the strength to build it better, to build it stronger, and to bring your passion in this time. There's something you've learned about yourself in this past cycle that is the secret ingredient to taking what hasn't really manifested in the way that you were hoping to, and it's going to allow it to, it's almost like giving the plant that's kind of like withering. It's okay, it's sort of producing fruit, not really. It's like giving your fruit that shot of or the plant giving it a shot of fertilizer, where all of a sudden it just kind of like comes back to life magically. That's your inspiration. And there's something that's coming from you looking back at your story and being willing to share it in a different way. That's really going to allow you to say, okay, it's time for me to speak the truth about the comfort zone I need to leave, about what I've learned, and about doubling down on having the strength to build this foundation for something that is going to lead to my 10 of Pentacles. That's going to lead to a great hope, dream, wish fulfillment. That's going to fulfill a need of mine. Okay, I'm actually going to pull, I'm curious about the Eight of Cups out here. Okay, we have the Queen of, interesting, we have the Queen of Cups and the Queen of Wands. I've seen these two cards come up over and over again in these readings together. So there's something to be said about the Queen of Cups is a mother, truly a mothering energy. It's the energy of really understanding too, of holding your cup precious, but also understanding that, you know, you can nurture the cup of others as well. And the Queen of Wands is that fiery kind of magic energy of when we realize we get to create what we want, where we want it, through our passion, through our inspiration. It's kind of that realization of, no matter where we are, there we are. And if we want to make it happen there, well, then our passion comes with us. Our creativity comes with us. It doesn't come from where we exist and who we're surrounded by. It comes from ourselves and is always within. And so there's an element here of kind of realizing the two sides, I think, within yourself, Virgo, to realize the mothering, self-mothering that you need for yourself to, you know, be whole and healed and honoring your cup, but also that energy of realizing, but you also have the magic within you. Sometimes it isn't always about physically having to walk away from something that no longer, emotionally fulfills us. It's about actually realizing I get to go on that journey within, and I get to find that ninth cup within myself. I get to rediscover my Ace of Cups. I get to rediscover the love of myself by going in and holding what I want dear, and then adding my magic touch to that cup. And that's what allows me to know where to put my time and energy. That's what allows me to keep my eye on my star. That's what allows me to have the courage to find those who want to build this foundation. Okay, so now I'm going to pull 3 additional cards here for the concept of curiosity, courage, and contemplation. So this first card is going to be advice from Spirit on where to stay open and curious to this month. Really asking yourself the question based around the energy of this card to help you clarify a little bit, I think, this, kind of more general message, bringing it more into a individualized message for yourself, allowing Spirit to channel through curiosity to come in and kind of point the way. And we have the Garden and the Gate. I kind of figured this was probably going to come out. This is pretty much in this deck the same version as the Nine of Pentacles. There's an element here of not wanting to leave the beautiful gated garden that you're in. It's something that's nice, it's protective, it, but there's also this yearning for what's out there. There's this yearning for what deep within your heart. It's time to use the key around your neck to unlock the doors and go out into the great wide somewhere. I'm imagining the scene from Beauty and the Beast. But there is that feeling, that longing within you that the journey isn't over. And that what you want might just be over the next hill line. But you have to be willing to put in the work, to have the courage to go out there. And to see how in going out there, who you're going to meet, what you're going to discover about yourself. And by keeping what you want to build in mind, this is going to be where you get to realize this sense of community. This is going to be where you get to realize the magic that you have within yourself, the magic that is actually desperately needed somewhere else out here. So I like how the number 3 is coming in here at the number 30. That number of being seen, of creativity, of kind of greeting life with the innocence of a child. And I think if you can just be curious about what does lie beyond your comfort zone right now, what's waiting for you. Okay, and then I'm going to pull a card here for the concept of courage, and this is where Spirit would like you to have courage to take action this month. So what to keep in mind as you're really digging deep to act authentically with yourself and to carry you on this next phase of your journey. To leave a comfort zone, to express this new truth you have for yourself, and to really bring your passion back into everything that you do. To bring you out there fearlessly, and to look to find others who want to build that foundation with you as they bring theirs in. Okay, so let's see here. What does Virgo need to know? Oh, I love it. Okay, so we have surrender to creativity. It says, let your imagination soar. Stay open to all creative ideas about how to pursue a dream or solve a problem. And I think creativity is one of those, yes, we focus on creativity, in school and in life in general, but it's one of those, it's almost a true magical capability that we all have a unique creative talent within us. That's actually the beauty of what makes us human, that we can think outside the box, that we can innovate, that we can, through facing challenges and problems, we get to, through our own unique creativity, come up with a unique solution that maybe nobody else in the whole world would ever have come up with. And I feel like that's kind of what this month might unlock for you, is that there's this element of inspiration coming through. And that for some of you, this might be that aha moment of going back and really taking a look at, between being curious about where you've kind of put yourself into a comfort zone, and then also being curious about looking back at your past journey and what you've learned about yourself, that there's going to be something that comes through here, through this divine inspiration that's like, oh, that's it. Let me try that. That's the one thing I haven't tried. That's the one part of myself I haven't brought into the equation. And that's what's going to give you the courage to take action, to go out there and leave a comfort zone. Okay, I'm going to pull a final card for contemplation, and this is for the very important aspect of building in reflection into our everyday experience. This is where Spirit would like you to stay reflective, to contemplate on energy of this card to really kind of underscore and ground this message into your monthly experience here. Okay, so we have 2 cards. Love it. We have Warrior Woman. Have you answered your deepest calling? And again, we don't have to focus on gender. This is just, have you answered your deepest calling? Where is the warrior? And I like she's holding the sword, because that really, kind of mirrors the whole, Knight of Swords here, Page of Swords here. What have you kind of held back? This strong part of yourself that needs to come out now and be shared. And then we have Star Mother. How can you mother yourself? And I like that that's mirroring the Queen of Cups over here. There's something now about really understanding and appreciating who you are. Maybe for some of you, you have been the one that has mothered other people, and it's time now for you to bring that energy back to yourself. There is strength when we can actually self-mother, meaning that we can just appreciate and love ourselves for who we are, and we don't need other people's outside recognition to do that. We just get to come into that place of loving ourselves the same way that the divine designer loves us. And I think these two together are very strong in that they speak to a strong feminine component of really kind of leaving space for, if you are strong enough to share your truth, strong enough to leave a comfort zone, strong enough to keep your eye on the vision you want for yourself, the rest will come into be. But it's really getting in touch with your deepest calling. What is that star? When you look within your cup, what's that part of yourself that's yearning to be expressed, yearning to be realized? And there will be the answer for yourself. Okay, I'm going to get one final. I actually want to just get one additional message here for the garden and the gate. Just an extra piece of advice before I pull our final card. So let's see here. What does Virgo need to know about the garden and the gate, and being curious about what lies beyond the comfort of their current experience, if they're brave enough to go out and see? I might just pull a card here. This deck is kind of hard for me to shuffle because it's gigantic. I like cards to come out authentically, but for the sake of not being here for 25 years. Okay, I'll shuffle one more time and then I'll pull a card. Ooh, Antelope Spirit. Life is speeding up, number 2. So for some of you, this might be that little kind of kick in the butt of life is speeding up. Maybe there's the whole reason why this is all kind of kicking into be, because you see something on the horizon. Maybe something has actually kind of spurred you to look up and you're like, oh, wait a second. Wait, everybody else is moving on. Maybe there's been somebody who's been living out on the outskirts of town over here, and you kind of just depended on them. You're like, yeah, I know that one day when I have the courage, I'll go down the path and say hi to that person out there. And maybe now you realize you see that person and there's a moving truck, and you start to see they're packing up. There's almost that feeling of there's something changing. There's something in your experience that possibility, that opportunity, that if you don't have the courage to really kind of move now, especially with the closing of a cycle, that it might be that kind of feeling of you might miss something, and that you might be being called now. It's time to leave a comfort zone because there's something that's waiting for you, but it might, there's that saying of what's there for you will never be withheld. But there's also that element too, that there's many different possibilities for us to get to the same place. And it might be that this is an opportunity to really kind of catapult yourself towards something you really want if you have the courage to go for it. And it could mean that, you have to make a choice to take somebody up on an opportunity, or to take yourself out of that comfort zone, or you can let it go by. That's where we have the free will that comes in our experience. And I think for some of you, again, if it's not the right time and you don't feel like you have, the provisions to move forward, then, sometimes it's just not meant to be, or it's not meant to be for you at this time because you've determined that for yourself. But for others, I like that it says life is speeding up, because it does mean that if you have the courage to go out there and kind of express from this new place, you have the courage to bring a unique part of yourself into something that it's time now to double down on and work towards, that it's going to really trigger a creative aspect of yourself that's going to get you from point A to, I feel like, point C, without really having to go through point B in the way that maybe perhaps you're struggling with. And I don't know how else to say it except like that, so I'm going to leave it like that for a go. All right. I'm going to go ahead now and pull a final card here to take a look at the overarching spiritual lesson you're learning about yourself for the month, and I will go ahead and read the full excerpt from the book that comes with this. Oh, interesting. So we have Wisdom of the Divine Feminine, number 9. It's interesting because I do feel like you have a lot of that divine feminine energy coming in here, and that divine feminine energy really is, when we think of yin and yang, for them, or for that concept, masculine is kind of outward pushing. It's where we are taking action and actually kind of building and taking up space. And yin energy, which is the feminine energy, that's like a negative space. It's leaving, it's holding space, holding room for something. And I feel kind of like that's what's happening here. It's almost like being able to tap into the negative space, almost like the 0 point field of like going back to where everything is possible and finding yourself within that kind of cosmic soup, and then using your creativity to build something, but not from this place again of I have to have a structure that people are going to come by and recognize in a specific way. It's almost like allowing a structure to just be, and then allowing others to come and almost, this is so strange, and I'm going to say it this way because this is how it's coming through intuitively. It's almost like you're building a structure that you feel called to build, a foundation, but you yourself aren't even sure what that foundation is for yet. You yourself, you might have an inkling as to what this is, what you want as your legacy, what the lifestyle you want to live around this vision, this dream for yourself. But it's almost like building it and then allowing, like I get the feeling of like, if you build it, they will come. Like allowing those who are meant to see it come and actually tell you, shape what it will be a foundation for. That's really harnessing the magic of divine feminine. It's not trying to force something to be. It's almost like allowing it to kind of come out of the ether and just be formed. I don't know. It's so strange how it's coming through like that. Maybe for one or two of you, it will resonate. I don't know. Okay, so it says, divine feminine wisdom empowers you to grow into your vision, your dreams, and the fulfillment of your life purpose. Perhaps you envision a very different life for yourself to what you are experiencing now. This wisdom reminds you that you can experience even the most extraordinary dreams as reality if you are willing to grow into what you desire, to become what you seek. Surrender any plans about how you can best manifest your dreams and instead allow life to guide and nourish you through the experiences each day. The universe supports your divine destiny and is helping you become all you are meant to be. When the wisdom of the divine feminine reaches for you, the message is clear. You are in a process of becoming more of heaven on earth. Sometimes there are growing pains alongside the joy such growth brings. You may feel concerned, thinking your pain is an indication that you are failing in some way. You may judge your suffering as a sign that you are not operating at a high enough frequency. Yet how many spiritual masters upon this planet have endured great suffering as well as experiencing tremendous love and joy in the fulfillment of their divine destiny? Growing pains are just part of the feminine path of creation, of breaking through what has become too small for you. There's joy in the eventual freedom, but the act of breaking through can feel painful at times. When things are difficult or you are feeling doubt, when you feel the need to do something that scares you and challenges you at the depths of your being, you are experiencing growing pains. They will pass and you will benefit from the growth. However, you need to know that while this difficulty is in your life, the divine is very much with you, encouraging you, believing in you so much that it will deliver a tough lesson. You can handle it for however long it needs to continue, and that won't be forever. This oracle also brings you a message about how much the divine feminine loves you and wants to help you grow with the least struggle and the most peace. If you don't listen to her, instead choosing to believe in fear, you may be terrified of your growing pains. You won't be sure if they will ever end. You may doubt your ability to turn adversity into triumph. You may lose faith instead of trusting that life has your best interests at heart and that you are capable of meeting any challenge that arises. Instead of trusting, you may believe the world isn't safe. This can keep you paralyzed in self-defeating, self-harming patterns. While these may give you a temporary familial satisfaction, ultimately these patterns mean you will continue to struggle and suffer under the weight of addiction or emotional pain. You deserve so much better than that. The divine feminine speaks to you now and promises that if you are willing to show up to your life each day and trust in the circumstances before you, she will guide you into your most beautiful divine destiny. It is safe to trust her. She wants for you only the best and most beautiful life journey, one perfectly suited for all that you are and all that you can be. Your heart beats in perfect rhythm with the heart of love at the center of the universe. And that really is the Ace of Cups. That is the love at the center of the universe through you, through the center of who you are. Trust your heart and trust life, always progressing beautifully as you are guided even deeper into the divine fulfillment. I love that. It's a deep message of internal trust, a deep message of trust in yourself through your deep trust of the divine. I have nothing else to add here, Virgo, except I hope you find this a really freeing month for yourself, that you touch on the inspiration that lies within you and you get ready to build again, coming from a place of divine faith and answering the deepest calling that comes from rediscovering the love for yourself and the love for all existence. And know that what you're doing will have a bigger impact on the collective. All right. If anyone would like to book a personal reading or just learn more about me and the services I offer, you can click on the link in the description box below to visit my website. Otherwise, I look forward to seeing you all in September's reading. Bye, Virgo.